question on the right side, way in the...
I'm here. Gregor Vossilis, Independent Media Publishing. Question, tongue-in-cheek question to the ladies on the podium. One of the key sentences, key phrases in the movie is when your mother is basically telling you, learn from the French queen, learn how to manipulate men so that they think they're in control, but in fact they're not. The tongue-in-cheek question, humor comes in. What do you think personally? Did your moms tell you something like this? Do you think that girls manipulate men, and actually we all believe as men that we are in control, in fact we're not? This is what do you think about it?
I think that, in a healthy relationship there should be an equal amount of, nobody should be controlling the relationship. It should be, a compromise, like a healthy compromise. And I think someone once told me, in their perspective as a man, kind of looking at this relationships between men and women, he was like, I know you think that we're all stupid, but we're not. He's like, we really are much more manipulative than you think we are. And when we oftentimes when a girl is asking a guy a question and a guy goes, what did you say? What are you talking about? It's a kind of a way of, instead of us being like, God, you're so thick, you don't understand what I'm trying to ask you. No, but it's a way that a man is sort of manipulating the situation, so a girl starts to think she's losing it, So that I've heard that there's, I've heard like these kind of tales of intelligence, but I don't know. It's all news to me, I guess. Nat, what do you think, Nat?
I've never been told anything like that by my mother or by any...
No, by my mom, no, terrible.
No, or by... Yeah, like in the movie. No. No, it's just in the movie.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have much to say.
On the left side, on the back.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm from Shanghai Media Group. My question is for director Justin. Why do you choose Natalie Portman to be the actress? And as you all know, Anne is very aggressive. And what's the similarity between Anne and Natalie? Thank you.
Well, no, this character, Anne Boleyn, we all know from history, and a lot of the perception of Anne is that she's this kind of woman on the edge and goes into some very, very dark worlds and some dark places. What I loved about what Natalie brought to that role was the humanity. For all that journey that character goes on, right at the end of the movie, when she's standing on that podium at the end, she's standing up there on the scaffold at the end, you feel for her. And to be able to do that with a character that has been so ambitious and been so kind of swept away by kind of position and power and stuff, to kind of for Natalie to be able to kind of capture that, the humanity of that character, I'm really pleased with. Natalie has got a ferocious intellect and loves researching, and so when we were making this film and coming up to it, all three of the actors really loved all of to research into that world and have as much information as they could about it. So, and I read that Anne was the same, that she kind of loved to read and was aware of lots of things that were going on, and she was a very, very intelligent, bright, articulate person. But I think all of our artists are like that.
Thank you.
Next question here in the Yale,
Hi.
please.
Hi, I'm Yael from Israel. I want to ask Natalie about the project you're going to direct. I must ask, book, how come you chose this book?
It was just, I think, the first book that I read that I could start. I saw it while I was reading it. I really saw it as a film while I was reading it. It's in very early stages still because of the writer's strike, but yeah, that's coming up.
Okay. Also in Yale, please, the question.
My question, basically, first of all, is Yannis Raouzeos from Sub Press magazine in Greece. My question is about the method that you used in the way to interpret these characters, all of you. I mean, was it some kind of becoming one with a character, or you tried to take an emotional distance? Since all these characters are mastered completely through passions, great passions, passions of power, passions of love. I would like you to describe me a little bit more your method, the acting method that you used, all of you, Scarlett, Natalie, and Eric, please. Thank you.
it always makes me slightly uncomfortable to discuss my method as far as creating a character, because it's a very personal process. And I was fortunate enough to have the book, which was written on a first person narrative. It's so rare to have that opportunity. It's like reading someone's diary that you're playing, and you kind of can empathize with their plight, or but at the same time, what gets you to a place that you need to go, it's so different for everybody, and like deeply, deeply personal, I find. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. But I'm not like method, if that's what you're asking, like becoming, or what people consider method, like becoming your character all the time. I don't know how you'd play like a character like Anne, or like a serial killer, just someone who's really horrible person, I don't know how you'd play that if you were acting like your character all the time. That doesn't seem possible to me. So I don't do that.
I don't have any real consistency with each character. I think I treat each film completely differently, and I think the approach is always different depending on who you're playing. But I think the three of us had unique challenges here, that we were playing characters that could be judged on either side of the fence, and you have to kind of reserve your moral judgment when you're playing those sorts of characters and just commit to them. And so it's about just trying to find the bits that you hope are going to be important to the audience in terms of their humanity and their motivation and all those sort of things. And it wasn't difficult in this case, because all three characters are so rich, and are sort of very interesting on their own. And I saw it as an embarrassment of riches when I read the script, that you had so many characters on whom a movie could be based on their own by themselves. So, and then you just got to get on the set and have a bit of fun, and bounce off your co-stars and be in the moment. And if you're lucky, you're working with other people who like to be instinctual, and these girls do. And so it created a great working environment. And on top of that, had a very open and collaborative director, which is every actor's dream, to be able to be on the set and experiment and try and fail and do anything and everything you want. And Justin created that environment.
Yeah, there's a question here on the left.
Hi, my name is Olga Galperovich. I'm from Belarus Radio Culture, but my question will be in German.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, we're on.
I don't need it, I'm just putting it on because I don't want to make you feel bad.
Ja. Zu 3 Schauspieler.
A question for the actors. What would you do personally if you found yourself in that kind of situation? Which would you choose, love or power?
Like to answer in German?
Power. I don't know that that's necessarily the things that I would say they're choosing between in the movie, because it seems like they're getting a little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, is the question directed personally, or I didn't understand the question. What is it? I think it was personally, right? Right? Personally. Personal? In our own lives. Would I prefer a relationship full of love or a relationship full of power? Was that the question? Yeah. I'm into the power. I'm into the power of love, baby.
Thank you. Question on the right, please.
Daniel West, BBC.